They met during a fire. Listening V1. Episode 1, The Wrong Place. The fire alarm screamed through the building at exactly 7:40 p.m. Clara froze with her coat half on, her heart jumping into her throat. Smoke wasn't supposed to be part of her first day at the new art gallery. People rushed past her, voices sharp, footsteps loud, panic rising fast. Someone shouted, "Everyone out!" And suddenly the calm evening turned into chaos. Outside, cold air hit her face. Clara stood on the steps, breathing fast, watching orange lights flash across the street. That's when she noticed him. Ethan stood a few steps away, his sleeve dark with blood. "Are you hurt?" she asked without thinking. He looked at her, surprised. "It's not mine," he said. "Someone fell inside." Before Clara could answer, firefighters pushed past them and the doors slammed shut again. Minutes felt like hours. Sirens, smoke, fear, all mixed together. Ethan paced, running a hand through his hair, clearly fighting the urge to go back in. "You know the person who fell?" Clara said quietly. It wasn't a question. He nodded. "If they don't get her out." The doors finally opened. A stretcher rolled out. Ethan rushed forward. Clara followed, her stomach tight, not knowing why she couldn't just walk away. And then she heard the medic say, "We need to talk to you. Now." Episode 2, A Line You Can't Uncross. The words hit Ethan like a punch. Clara stopped beside him as the medic spoke fast and serious. There had been a collapse inside. Someone was trapped. The rescue would take time. Maybe too much time. "I'm going back in," Ethan said suddenly. The firefighter blocked his way. "Absolutely not." Clara grabbed Ethan's arm before he could move. "You'll make it worse," she said, her voice shaking but firm. "You won't help anyone if you're hurt." He looked at her, eyes burning with anger and fear. For a second, she thought he would pull away. Instead, he stayed. They waited. Again. The night grew colder. The crowd grew quieter. When the stretcher finally came out again, the silence broke into gasps. The woman was alive. Ethan dropped onto the steps, covering his face. Relief, sharp and painful, rushed through him. Clara sat beside him without a word. "You didn't have to stay," he said after a moment. "I know," she replied. "But I wanted to." Their eyes met. Something real passed between them, quick, strong, impossible to ignore. A firefighter walked over. "We'll need witnesses. Both of you." Clara nodded. She didn't know it yet, but this was the moment her life quietly changed direction. And there was no turning back. Episode 3, Under Oath. The room smelled like cold coffee and metal. Clara sat straight in the hard chair, hands folded too tightly in her lap. Across the table, a man in a dark jacket flipped through papers. Ethan stood near the window, jaw tense, arms crossed. "Start from the moment the alarm went off," the investigator said. Clara spoke carefully. She described the noise, the smoke, the rush outside. When she mentioned the injured woman, the man's pen paused. "You didn't know her?" he asked. "No," Clara answered, "but he did." She nodded toward Ethan. The investigator turned. "Mr. Carter, your relationship to her?" Ethan hesitated. Just a second too long. "She's my business partner," he said. Clara glanced at him. Business partner didn't explain the fear in his eyes. The investigator leaned back. The fire wasn't an accident. Silence fell heavy between them. "We believe someone blocked the emergency exit," he continued. "On purpose." Clara's breath caught. "You think someone tried to trap her?" "Possibly," the man said. "And both of you were in the building at the right time." Ethan moved away from the window. "Are we suspects?" "Not yet," the investigator replied. "But you're involved now." Outside, night had fully fallen. Ethan looked at Clara. "This isn't over," he said quietly. She believed him. Episode 4, Too Close to Walk Away. Rain started without warning. Clara and Ethan stood under the gallery's small awning, watching the street blur with water and light. No one spoke for a moment. You can go, Ethan finally said. You don't need this mess. Clara shook her head. I don't leave things unfinished. He smiled faintly. That could be dangerous. Maybe, she replied, but so is pretending nothing happened. A black car slowed near them, then drove on. Ethan noticed. His body stiffened. Did you see that? He asked. Yes, Clara said, and I don't think it was just a car. They walked in silence, steps matching without trying. At the corner, Ethan stopped. There's something I didn't tell them, he said. The woman in the gallery. She was about to expose someone. Clara's heart beat faster. Expose who? Ethan opened his mouth. A loud crash cut the air behind them. Glass shattered. They both turned just in time to see a figure disappear into the rain, and on the ground, near their feet, lay a broken phone. Still glowing. Episode 5, No Safe Corners. The broken phone lay on the wet pavement, its screen flickering before going dark. Ethan picked it up carefully, turning it over. The screen was cracked, the case unfamiliar. It's not mine, Clara said immediately. I know, he replied. And it wasn't hers either. Sirens echoed somewhere far away. Ethan slipped the phone into his jacket. We shouldn't be standing here, he said. Not anymore. They walked fast, cutting through side streets. Rain soaked Clara's hair, her shoes, her thoughts. Every shadow felt too close. At a small cafe still open, Ethan pushed the door in. Warm air and quiet music wrapped around them. They sat near the back, pretending to be normal people having a late coffee. You're calm, Clara said. I'm not, Ethan answered. I'm trained. That stopped her. Trained for what? He looked at her for a long second. Risk management, he said finally. Corporate. Private. Clara didn't fully believe him, but she didn't push. Ethan powered on the phone. A single app opened without a password. A map. One location blinking red. That's tomorrow morning, he said. A meeting place. Clara swallowed. And we're supposed to go? Ethan met her eyes. If we don't, someone else will control the story. Outside, a car engine started and didn't leave. Episode 6, Trust is a Choice. They exited through the back door. The alley was narrow and dark. Clara's pulse raced as Ethan scanned the street before moving. Stay close, he whispered. They walked fast, then faster. The car followed, slow, patient. Too patient. At the next corner, Ethan suddenly pulled Clara into a closed bookstore doorway. The car passed without stopping. Clara's breath came short. She could feel Ethan's arm around her, steady and protective. Are you okay? He asked softly. Yes, she lied. He pulled back slightly but didn't let go completely. Listen to me. After tonight, you can still walk away. She shook her head. So can you. He smiled, tired but real. No, I crossed that line a long time ago. They reached Clara's building. Ethan stopped. Tomorrow morning, he said. If I'm not there, don't wait. Clara looked at him. If you don't come, I'll find you. Their eyes locked. Something deep, unspoken, dangerous formed between them. Ethan turned away. Clara watched until he disappeared. And only then did she realize she had already chosen to trust him. Episode 7, The Meeting Point. The location led them to an old riverside warehouse at dawn. Fog rolled low over the water, thick and silent. Clara arrived first, her heart pounding with every step. She checked the time again. No, Ethan. She told herself to stay calm. Just as she turned to leave, a familiar voice spoke behind her. You came! Ethan looked tired but unhurt. Relief hit her so hard she almost laughed. Inside the warehouse, footsteps echoed. A woman stepped forward, sharp eyes, confident posture. You have something that belongs to me, she said. Ethan didn't move. The fire was a warning, he replied. You went too far. The woman smiled coldly. Your partner wanted to ruin everything. She didn't understand the price. Clara's stomach tightened. People almost died. That's business, the woman said. Ethan stepped in front of Clara. It ends today. The woman raised her phone. Then let's finish it. Suddenly, police lights flashed through the fog. The woman's smile vanished. Episode 8. The truth comes out. Chaos broke loose. Voices shouted. Officers rushed in. The woman tried to run, but two policemen blocked her path. She dropped her phone. It slid across the concrete floor. An officer picked it up. "We've got everything," he said. Messages, payments, orders. The woman's face hardened as handcuffs clicked shut. Clara felt weak with relief. Her legs shook. Ethan steadied her. "It's over," he whispered. Outside, the fog began to lift. Morning light touched the river, soft and calm, like nothing bad had ever happened. Later, they sat on the steps, wrapped in silence. "I was wrong to pull you into this," Ethan said. Clara looked at him. "I was already in it. From the moment I stayed," he smiled, a real one this time. "So what happens now?" he asked. Clara thought for a moment. "Now we live normal lives," she said. "Or we try." Ethan laughed quietly. "I'd like that." He stood, then offered his hand. Clara took it, but as they walked away, a question remained. What do you do when danger brings you closer than safety ever could? Episode 9, New Beginnings. The city breathed softly in the evening light, streets quiet after the storm of the past days. Clara and Ethan walked side by side, their steps in sync, the chaos behind them fading like a bad dream. Clara looked at Ethan. "I never thought danger could feel like this," she said, a small smile tugging at her lips. He glanced at her, eyes warm. "Closer than anything safe ever could," he admitted. "I'm glad we stayed." They reached a small riverside park. The sun was dipping below the horizon, painting everything gold and rose. Ethan stopped and turned to her. "I know we've only just met under insane circumstances," he said, "but I want this, us, no secrets, no running." Clara's heart raced, a mix of adrenaline and calm she hadn't felt in years. "Me too," she whispered. He took her hands gently. "Then let's start fresh. Today. Right now." She laughed softly, feeling lighter than she had in forever. "I like that idea." Ethan leaned closer, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face. Their eyes met, and everything else, the fear, the chase, the chaos, faded into memory. All that mattered was the moment. They walked forward, hand in hand, the river shimmering beside them, the city glowing. For the first time, Clara felt completely alive. And as the first stars appeared in the sky, they knew they could face anything. Together. Welcome for more interesting stories.